The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series kicks off the 2023 season, and we see a lot of rain cautions, a lot of wrecks, and a rain caution to end the first Truck Series race of the 2023 season. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel, and welcome back to our video. I just got done watching the Truck Series opener from Daytona International Speedway, the Next Era Energy 250. We got a lot to talk about from the race, so let's go ahead and talk about it. So, before the green flag dropped in tonight's race, some drivers would have to go to the rear of the field. Daniel dived for a transmission change. Chase Purdy, Corey LaJoie, Clay Greenfield, Jason White, the Canadian one, and Josh Room would all have to go to the rear for unapproved adjustments, and Chris Hacker went to the rear for an engine change. So at the start of the race, you had Nick Sanchez lead the field from the inside with Ty Majeski on the outside, and Ty Majeski was able to get the race lead with a big push from Christian Eckes and was able to lead lap 1. Then Christian Eckes got a huge run and a good push and was able to clear for the lead, and then the first caution came out on lap number 2 for rain, and this would be a common theme throughout the night. During the caution on lap 4, you had Derek Kraus and Chase Purdy, Dye, and Tyler Ankrum all came down pit road. Then the next lap, you had Chase Purdy, Tyler Ankrum, Zane Smith come back down pit road. So on the restart, Christian Eckes lead the field back from the inside with Matt Crafton on the outside, but as they went into turn 3 and turn number 4, the caution would come out once again for rain. Then once again, you had some guys come down pit road to basically top off. Guys like Parker Kligerman, Corey LaJoie, and Travis Serrano would all come down to pit road under yellow. So we would go back green on lap 11. Christian Eckes leading the field from the inside with Matt Crafton on the outside, and Christian Eckes got a really big push and was able to clear for the lead. Then it basically became back and forth for a few laps between Matt Crafton and Christian Eckes for the lead. Then with 2 laps to go in the stage, Ty Majeski and Matt Crafton eventually cleared, and they were basically able to get up to the lead. Then Majeski got around with 2 laps to go. As they're coming to the white flag heading into turn number 4 of stage number 1, Ty Majeski got very loose. Christian Eckes got a massive run down the front stretch, and he was able to win stage number 1. A very solid ending to a really fragmented stage. So when Christian Eckes winning the stage, it would be his 3rd career stage win in the Truck Series history. He won stage 1. And we saw a little bit of strategy where guys like Tyler Ankrum, Stuart Friesen, Colby Howard, Park Kligerman, Chase Purdy all stayed out, while the rest leaders came down pit road, while Chris Wright got a speeding penalty. We go back green in lap 26 with Tyler Ankrum leading the field from the inside with Stuart Friesen on the outside, and Stuart Friesen was able to get the lead. Then Tyler Ankrum got the lead back. Then a few laps later, trouble struck in the middle of the pack. Clay Greenfield just got loose. He was basically 3 wide. He kind of got squeezed up by a couple different drivers. Jack Wood was there. Clay Greenfield got loose and unfortunately ended up spinning out, causing a pretty big accident that unfortunately took out drivers like Dean Thompson, Haley Deegan, who actually scored stage points in stage number 1, Tanner Gray, Matt DiBenedetto, who also scored points in stage 1, Brett Holmes, and Daniel Dye were all involved in the crash. And then eventually the caution came out due to the rain, and they had to red flag that. In my opinion, that was just a racing deal and a racing situation. Clay Greenfield took responsibility for the wreck. But if you want my honest opinion, I can't put entire fault on Clay Greenfield. It looks like he kind of got squeezed right there, and it was just a racing deal and a race situation. He just got loose. Sometimes he can't control it. But it's such a shame because Haley Deegan, she was having a great run. Matt DiBenedetto was having a great run, but they kind of held back a little bit, and they came down pit road, and they could have stayed out. But then again, they needed to come down pit road to get fuel. So it's unfortunate for Haley Deegan and Matt DiBenedetto because both those drivers were having really strong races. And then after a 12-minute red flag, we went back to yellow, and then we eventually went back to green 5 laps to go in stage number 2, with Tyler Ankrum lead the field from the inside, with Colby Howard on the outside, and we saw Tyler Ankrum get the lead for a lap. Then Colby Howard got the lead the next lap, and then with 3 laps to go, Tyler Ankrum was able to get the race lead and was able to hold them off. And then coming to 2 to go, you had Stuart Friesen able to get the lead, and as they're coming to the white flag in stage number 2, down the backstretch, Stuart Friesen was getting a huge push from Ben Rhodes, but Stuart Friesen kind of came up in front of Ben Rhodes, and he unfortunately ended up wrecking on the last lap of stage number 2 into the outside wall, bringing out the caution. Colby Howard, Brett Holmes, Park Kligerman, Cody Robot, and Ben Rhodes were all unfortunately involved. Some people are easily going to blame Ben Rhodes for that, but in my honest opinion, that was completely on Stuart Friesen. He came up in front of Ben Rhodes. It was just a simple mistake by Stuart Friesen. He took responsibility for the wreck during the red flags. We'll get into very shortly, but Stuart Friesen ended up causing the wreck that took out a bunch of contenders, including some of the drivers in the middle of the pack, including Colby Howard. Because of that, though, that would be the end of stage number 2, with Tyler Ankrum winning the 2nd stage. So then we have a little bit of strategy where guys like Corey LaJoie, Zane Smith, Corey Heim, and among others like Matt DiBenedetto decided to stay out because rain was a factor once again. And then we went back green in lap 48 with Corey LaJoie lead the field from the inside with Zane Smith on the outside, and Zane Smith was able to get the race lead away from Tyler Ankrum. And then Corey LaJoie, he was able to get the lead back. Then he got basically Zane Smith was able to get the lead back, and then Corey LaJoie got the lead back. And then with 13 laps to go technically in the race, Roger Kroof basically was in the middle lane. He got a huge push from Ben Rhodes, and unfortunately got squirrely and ended up spinning out, bringing out a multi-car accident involving Grant Enfinger, Matt DiBenedetto, Daniel Dye, and Ty Majeski. Not a lot of damage for some of those drivers. Unfortunately, took Roger and Daniel Dye out of the race. There's a little bit of a simple mistake from Roger. He did get a push from Ben Rhodes, but still I think Roger could have backed out just a little bit right there. He didn't have to make that move, but it is what it is. It's just a rookie mistake by Roger Kroof. He's a young driver. He's got a lot to learn. He took full responsibility for the wreck. I can't completely put the blame 100% on Roger. Granted, he's the one that kind of caused the wreck, but he got pushed by Ben Rhodes, so I have to put a little bit of blame on Ben Rhodes. But because of that, you had a little more strategy happen where guys like Corey LaJoie, Timmy Hill, Derek Kraus all decided to stay out while the rest leaders came down pit road. But Corey LaJoie actually stayed out because of a miscommunication there. And then went back green on lap 65 with Corey LaJoie lead the field from the inside with Tyler Ankrum on the outside. And Zane Smith basically split both Tyler Ankrum and Corey LaJoie and was able to get the race lead. And then we would get a caution coming out, and this would really be the big deciding factor with Zane Smith being in the lead. With that, the caution would come out for rain, and the final yellow came out. We see Corey LaJoie and a couple guys come down the road because they thought we'd go back racing, but then NASCAR decided to bring the cars down the road on lap 74 of the race, and it was nearly an hour and a half long red flag quintessentially, and they would bring the car, 1 hour about 54 seconds, a little over an hour. They came down the road during the red flag. NASCAR then tried to get the cars back down pit road and basically tried to get them off pit road to get back on the track, but then it was raining too much and the mist was getting thick and it turned into rain, and NASCAR decided to go ahead and call the race with Zane Smith picking up his second straight Daytona victory and also winning another race at Daytona. It's been a big week for Zane Smith. Zane Smith, of course, will race in the Daytona 500 in 2023, but this is a really good start. Picks up right where he started off. I don't think Zane Smith had the best truck tonight. I think there were other trucks in the field that were clearly better than Zane Smith, but Zane Smith did what he had to do, and he got the win. Granted, he kind of got an easy win, and it jokingly could have got a Mickey Mouse win like Christian Eck has mentioned, but Zane Smith was in the right position, the right time, led a ton of laps, and gets a victory, and basically picks up right where he left off. So, massive congratulations, Zane Smith, on picking up his first victory of 2023, of course, pending post-race inspection, and now he'll go to try to win the Daytona 500 on Sunday. Congratulations to Zane Smith on winning the Daytona Truck Series opener. So now we're going to go through the results of tonight's race, and I'll give you my score of tonight's race. So Zane Smith picks up the victory. Tanner Gray finishes second. Great run from Tanner Gray. Tanner Gray was kind of quiet through the first half of the race, but near the second half was up front due to strategy. Still a really good start to the year for Tanner Gray. He started last year really well as well, so hopefully he can continue momentum like he did at the beginning of the year. Hopefully Tanner Gray can have a good year. Christian Eck finishes third. In my opinion, he probably had the best truck all night long. His truck looked the most smooth and looked the most consistent on the racetrack. I didn't know how he was going to be at McAnally Hilgeman because those trucks have not always been the fastest at the super speedways, but Christian Eck is a really strong super speedway racer, and I think he's going to be one to watch, especially when we go to Atlanta and Talladega later this year. But a great run for Christian Eck at a new organization. He finishes third. Colby Howard finishes fourth. Great run from Colby Howard and great comeback from Colby Howard. Colby Howard had a very solid run tonight. Was up front a lot of the night. Got involved in some wrecks, but still bounced back to top 5 finish. Great run from him. Grant Enfinger finishes fifth. Grant was really quiet most of the night, but finishes in a solid top 5 finish. Hopefully this means that this could be a great year for Grant Enfinger. Ty Majeski finishes sixth. After getting involved in a couple wrecks tonight, he still finishes in the top 10. Looking to try to win his first Truck Series championship this year. Good to see Ty Majeski have a good run. He was up front in the beginning of the race, kind of fell back, got involved in a wreck like I mentioned, was still able to bounce back and finish sixth. Good run from Ty Majeski. Tyler Ankrum finishes seventh. I think Ankrum was another driver who had a really strong truck tonight, and I think he'll have a better year this year than he did last year, but 7th place is a really good start to the year for Tyler Ankrum. Good run from him. Corey Heim finishes 8th. Very solid night for Corey Heim. Very quiet night, but also very solid night. He finishes 8th. Matt Crafton also looked really strong tonight. He finishes 9th, so looking for his first Daytona win. We don't know how much longer Matt Crafton is actually going to race, but still a 9th place run is pretty solid regardless. Chase Elliott finishes 10th. Chase Elliott was run top 10, top 15 a lot of the night, kind of held back in the middle portion of the race, but still finishes 10th for the McAnally-Hogeman team. Good to see Chase Elliott finish in 10th. Ben Rhodes finished 11th, despite having a lot of damage from one of the wrecks. Still good run for Ben Rhodes regardless. Carson Osamar finished 12th. Good run from him. Travis Strana finishes in the top 15. How about that for Travis? Travis has run top 10 at points a lot of the night as well, so good to see Travis Strana having a good run. He, of course, will run in the Daytona 500 as well. Good to see Travis having a good run. Sammy Smith finishes in 14th, quiet most of the night. Jason White, who drives the one car, Jay White, finishes in 15th. I thought he'd be a little more of a factor, but it seemed like they set the truck up more than for qualifying than the race. Timmy Hill finishes 16th. Chase Purdy finishes 17th. Derek Cross finishes 18th. Josh Rayoum finishes 19th. And Matt DiBenedetto, who got involved in 2 wrecks tonight, who had a really strong truck tonight, looked like he was going to be a contender to win. He still finishes top 20. Solid night, all things considered. Got some stage points in it, so there's at least some good news right there. He finished 20th. Jason White, the Canadian driver, he finishes 21st. Chris Wright finished 22nd. Corey LaJoie finishes 23rd. Looked like he was going to have a good strategy, but unfortunately he had to come back down to road near the end, which took him out of contention. But he had a good truck tonight. He's always a good super speed racer, so not surprised with the good run. Mason Massey finished 24th. Chris Hacker finished 25th. Nick Sanchez, who had a strong truck early, he finishes 26th. Jack Wood finished 27th. Stuart Friesen finished 28th after getting involved in the wreck. Roger Kruft, after crashing out, finishes 29th. Daniel Dye finishes in 30th. Brett Holmes finishes 31st. Park Kligerman, who had a really strong truck early in the race, he finishes 32nd after getting involved in a wreck. Cody Robaugh finishes 33rd. Clay Greenfield finishes 34th. Haley Deegan finishes 35th. Major tough break for Haley Deegan. It seems like she always has bad luck in some areas. Yes, you do make your own luck, but I feel like Haley Deegan kind of got screwed. She had a really good run going tonight. It was run top 5 and 10. She was being up there front and actually was doing a really good job. It's a shame she was back where she was. Picker could have done a better job to not put her in that position, but really not her fault in the situation, and just nothing you can do in the situation. Hopefully this year's better for her. And Dean Thompson finishes last in 36 after getting involved in the big one. So now we're overall talk about the overall race as a whole and give you my score for tonight's race. I'm going to be honest with you guys. When this race was green, it was really, really good. There was a lot of side-by-side racing. You had great battles, great slingshots throughout the stages. Unfortunately, there was a lot of rain cautions, and it felt like I think there were more caution laps in this race than green flag laps. So that's what was so frustrating is when there wasn't wrecking and there wasn't cautions tonight and there wasn't rain, this was a really, really good race. Unfortunately, the rain cautions and how the race ended was not good, and it was very frustrating to watch as a fan. So for that, this race would have been a lot more green. I would have given this race a 9 out of 10. Unfortunately, because of all the rain situation stuff, I can't give this race a better score than a 7.5 out of 10. Like I mentioned, I would have given this race a better score with how they were doing the stop-start stuff. I have to give it around a 7 out of 10, unfortunately. This would have been a 9 out of 10 race, basically at the low point, had it not had all the cautions for rain. But to me, it was 7.5 out of 10 race at best due to all the rain. So, that is going to be for the Truck Series race to be from Daytona International Speedway. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe to the channel, notifications on to be notified when a video does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Links description below that, and comment below your thoughts below on tonight's race. What are thoughts on tonight's race? Let me know below. Let me know your score in the comments below, and congratulate Zane Smith on picking up the victory at Daytona. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Tomorrow on the channel, I'm going to have a couple of videos on the channel. I'm going to have the starting lineup for the Daytona 500 video on the channel. And I'm also going to be basically having the Xfinity Series race review on the channel as well. And I might have an ARCA review on the channel. And then Sunday, I might have a Daytona 500 preview. And also we'll have the Daytona 500 review on the channel as well. And we got a lot of content on the way as well. We got some stuff that came out earlier today that we'll talk about on the channel. So anyway, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching tonight's race review, and I'll see you guys next time for some more great, awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.